Torghast, the Tower of the Damned, is going to be the main topic of this video. In the foreground, we will be discussing different things you need to know about the Tower of the Damned as revealed by data miners of Wowhead and MMO Champion. In the background, however, I'm offering to you my 4-chest run on my very casually geared Windwalker Monk. Stick around. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Gyro here. It feels like I haven't seen you for a while, but it's been only a couple of days. But the information keeps pouring at us, so it's time for another video. As you have figured, I am currently testing a new format that I'm still welcoming your feedback on. And I am separating my videos into foreground and the background to kind of offer you a double whammy of sorts. As the staple content for now for this channel are Horrific Visions, runs of Horrific Visions solo on my alts, I am offering to you today in the background, I'm offering to you another casual run of a Horrific Vision of Orgrimmar on my Windwalker Monk. Windwalker Monk, I showed to you the talents, I showed to you all the stats and everything, as you can see, very modestly geared, and no Gift of the Titans talent. The Cloak is not too high, wasn't even rank 10 when I started this run, so this is just to give you basic information, then you can just enjoy this background footage while we speculate and talk about some revelations that our friends at Wowhead gave us today about Torghast, the Tower of the Damned, the Infinite Dungeon, or allegedly Horrific Visions 2.0. As you can imagine, for me, as a host of this channel, as an owner of this channel, for me, Torghast was always supposed to be the most interesting thing until we know more. But for what it's worth, for all the information, excitement at BlizzCon, Torghast was always supposed to be my jam. It was always supposed to be the thing that I'm excited about the most, because Horrific Visions really resonated with me. That's what I'm enjoying, that's what I'm doing currently on different alts, as you can see. And Torghast, this infinite dungeon that was supposed to be a much more mature iterations of the system that we're witnessing in Horrific Visions, no doubt, is of great interest to me. I am not in alpha, hopefully yet, hopefully I will get into alpha at some point, but not yet. So I am naturally, just like everyone else, every other fan of the game, I am kind of scouring the internet for all bits and pieces of information and footage of alpha, Shadowlands Alpha. Torghast is not open yet at the moment of publishing of this video. We just have data mining from Wowhead and MMO Champion available to us. That's what the speculation is based on. So we have not seen yet one single piece of footage of Torghast from the inside. I would love to do it myself whenever that opens, but I don't have my fingers crossed. Not too huge of a YouTuber, and don't have enough of a profile, that's fine. So what Wowhead has told us about from data mining, and please, I don't know what to suggest. I don't want to lose you as my viewer, at least for this video, but there will be spoilers if you're trying to avoid spoilers. I think it's my duty to take it seriously and tell you that I am going to be talking at the very least about what Wowhead has dug out. I am generally trying to avoid myself any information about the story of Shadowlands, of Torghast for that matter. But as far as the features are concerned, text, variety of other elements that has been so far exposed to us about Torghast, I'm gonna talk about it and I'm gonna spoil it. So please come back to another video. If this is not your cup of tea, let me know in the comments down below. Just scroll past. But you have been warned if you decided to stay and watch, and I appreciate your support, by the way, because I'm a fan. I'm trying to avoid spoilers in a significant way, like story spoilers, but features, bits and pieces and stuff, I want to know. So that I choose to be spoiled myself, so I don't want to spoil you. You've been warned. Now, based on what we were told at BlizzCon, and BlizzCon only showed us a fairly goofy presentation of the Torghast as a feature, where the presenter was using PowerPoint slides and fairly unconvincing kind of visuals that were talking to us about this ever-changing infinite dungeon, ever-changing presumably programmatically generated halls, similar to, everyone would imagine, traditional classic versions of Diablo that used to generate procedurally, programmatically generate levels in the game for us. So Torghast is supposed to be something similar to that. The reason to run Torghast, at least the primary reason, at least on the original slide, PowerPoint slide that was shown to us at BlizzCon, and that Wowhead is also repeating to us, very conveniently reminding us about, are the runes and some way of forging or reinforcing legendary items. There is this prolific, fairly well, very often and well documented so far, term of the armory. There is some concept of an armory that is either discovered inside of Torghast or it's inside of the Maw and it's somehow linked with Torghast. It's unclear, at least to me from the information that I have found. It's unclear exactly what it is, but it's fun to speculate, so that's what we're doing here. We're speculating while we're running our Horrific Visions, yeah? So I understand that this armory is going to offer us a chance to either unlock or forge some sort of legendaries. And I understand that these runes that we collect as we possibly clear levels, presumably, of Torghast, they will be allowing us to empower those legendaries or even serve as materials to forge, to create those legendaries in the first place, like recipes. It's fairly interesting for me. It is definitely interesting. There are items mentioned in relation to Torghast in the data mining, items that are primarily, looks like those items are only available to us inside of Torghast itself as part of the run. So those items are buffing us as players and allowing us to be stronger, progress further, do all that kind of stuff, which is cool. It's cool. So things like Beastmaster's Signet, for example, are being listed, and there are lots of them. You can go to Wowhead and actually go scroll through the list of those items, list of the spells, lists of different things, if you really are interested in detailed versions of that. So that's cool if that's your cup of tea. I think that all will change. I was personally as much of a fan as I am. I haven't been actually looking at every single line of that itemized kind of stuff that is looking for us there at the moment, because that's detail. That's minute detail that, if nothing else, I will just avoid being spoiled on. Yeah, but I would like to know what it is, and I'm sharing it with you right now if for some reason you would like a summary as opposed to just read it yourself somewhere. So Beastmasters, Beast Stalkers or something Signet is supposed to be, for example, reducing the cooldown on Bestial Wrath for Beastmaster Hunters naturally by 15%. That's fairly powerful. So naturally they're not going to just give it to us to use in the free world, but within the world of Torghast, kind of like inside of a Horrific Vision, it would be a major buff for Beastmaster Hunters. And I assume, but it's a fairly safe bet that other classes are going to get similar kind of buffs and similar kind of items as they go through Torghast. Then another thing is that there is this mention of Jailer's Power. Jailer's Power, that something that is increasing like a debuff as presumably we progress further through levels of Torghast. It's like something that is going to weigh on us. It is something that is going to be like insanity inside of Horrific Visions. It's something that's going to drain us and that's going to slow us down, and the further we go, the stronger the effect of that Jailer's Power gets, and the stronger we need to be, the more items we need to collect, the more buff we need to be, whichever way they allow us to buff ourselves, to get further and further and further through obviously Torghast as the tower. Okay, well, that's their way of gating it a little bit. That's their way of making sure that we have some sense of progression, some sense of getting stronger, some sense of pushing harder. I agree with that. It's just, well, how they implemented it, it's their choice. At the moment, I haven't seen it, but in theory, I have no objections. It sounds interesting to me. It sounds also fairly logical, so, it's not an issue. One thing, however, that I'm going to say here is that when you read and this part I do encourage you to read in more detail on the Wowheads page, in Wowheads news. It mentions consumption of a jailer's key to enter Torghast as a tower. So I have to, at this stage, assume that it will work similarly to the vessels of Horrific Visions, right? And that tells me that access to Tower of the Damned is going to be limited, mark my words. Even if they are going to somehow offer us those jailer's keys slightly more generously, as currently we have to farm coalescing visions to get a vessel of Horrific Visions in order to enter Horrific Vision, we feel fairly limited, yes? Even if they do it in a more generous way, it is still going to be a gated, limited system that they are not going to let us just simply walk in and enjoy if that is all we want to do, similar to me. That, my friends, I am not happy about, and no, there is no need to tell me, Gyro, just to wait until it happens before you start panicking. I'm not panicking. I'm just working currently with the facts, and I'm also working with a proto system that we have right now in front of us as a Horrific Visions. We know how that system works. I'm simply working with facts I have currently, and I'm offering to you this for friendly speculation. Please let me know in the comments down below, what do you think from this information I give you? And if you bother to follow the link that is given to you in the description of this video, I am going to include it to the Wowhead article that has a lot more information, and it's kind of, well, it's offered to you then in a unabridged version of how they put it in the original version, if you don't trust my kind of recreation of this information for you in a verbal format. Please take a look. Please let me know, what does it resonate with you as? What does it sound to you like? To me, it sounds like a limited system that we can only hope is a lot more generous as far as access is concerned than Horrific Visions are. Because what allows me to have as much fun as I have virtually in World of Warcraft right now with this? Alts. Alts. Because if all I can get is with my casual play, with my casual time allocated to the game, 3 to 4 maybe if I'm pushing really hard vessels of Horrific Visions per week for one character, so I can do only 3 to 4 runs. But if this is all I do, or at the very least I choose to do mostly that in the end game right now, if all I had was that one main, that wouldn't be much, would it? Wouldn't be much at all. Yes, there are bits and pieces of other things, mythic dungeons, this and that, but it's nowhere near as much time as I spend as a solo player in a Horrific Vision. It concerns me. It worries me that those jailers' keys that are right now being so hush-hush, kind of not really on the front, put to the forefront even by Wowhead, it's just listed there in some of those texts when they talk about jailers' power. Take a look. But mark my words, this is going to come back to bite us in the ass. I don't know exactly how badly, hopefully not too badly, but I'm really cautious about it. I'm cautiously optimistic about it, but I'm sorry, this is just how it makes me feel. It's another system of limitations. Then what they're talking about is this system of vitality. Vitality, even Wowhead, and I have to trust their word because they have a lot more variables in front of them. I have to trust their summary without having seen it for myself. Vitality seems to be very similar to sanity. Vitality seems to be something that keeps you going in the inside of a Torghast. Like sanity drains, like sanity can be increased, improved through Mother's Archives talents. Sounds like armory, items, other kind of things, increase your vitality, increase your gain of vitality, increase your pool of vitality to start with. That's what it sounds to me like from the notes that I'm reading on Wowhead. Happy to hear your comments on this, happy to hear your opinions on this. Am I overthinking this? Probably. Is it fun? Still yes. So what vitality is, we are definitely seeing a little bit of a current system, current incarnation of this system inside of a Horrific Vision, inside of the implementation of how Horrific Visions currently work. They lead with the information about this event system, which is basically like seasons, kind of like seasons in Diablo, possibly, maybe. And they even telling us that as soon as Torghast opens, maybe shortly thereafter, they will have a few weeks of these Beasts of Prodigum, or whatever the pronunciation is, event, where these extra beasts are going to be present. Are they enemies? Are they, some of them at the very least, are they tameable friends? Are they like pets or something? Because some of the texts on Wowhead suggest that the beast could be picking up your loot or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I think I skimmed through it and I think that's the impression I got. So it's actually quite interesting. So hopefully there will be multiple seasons and it will not just be like Orgrimmar Stormwind, Orgrimmar Stormwind, Orgrimmar Stormwind, slightly different insanities or whatever sanities. It is interesting. So hopefully it will offer a lot more actual variety to the players. I am very much in favor of that. And then finally there is a mention of this thing called Phantasma, which, for the lack of a better word, from all the descriptions that I saw, seems to me like coalescing visions. You collect Phantasma by the sound of it to power something, or perhaps to, I don't know, sustain yourself within Torghast, get the jailer's keys, power your armory, buy the items with, do something like that with. I did not read every single line because that's also my I don't know, maybe not very effective, but it is my way of making sure that I don't spoil everything for myself by the time I can play alpha or the live game even months later. But at the moment, this is what it feels to me like. Now, that's all I have personally picked up about Torghast so far from MMO Champion and Wowhead. It does feel a tiny bit, silly and clutching to the straws of bits and pieces of data mining because we have not seen Torghast as a dungeon to have a conversation. And I promise to you that as a fan of the game, as a fan of Horrific Visions, as a content, as a staple content for my channel, and I know that however bad or however good Torghast is going to be, yes, I realize that it will be more like a rogue-like game as opposed to a thing of its own like Horrific Visions, which I think is a more simplified system, proto-system. That's what I refer to as proto-system. I expect Torghast to be a lot more versatile, a lot more interesting, a lot more varied. But I am very interested, and as soon as we actually see, either through fortunate influencers, I hate that word, who had access, who will gain access to Torghast before me, or then later when I am fortunate enough to do this myself, we are going to be revisiting this topic. We are going to possibly be even making references to this video where I was speculating at first, thinking of what means, and if it's going to be that bad or that good, or did I expect that it will be that good or that bad. I am definitely going to revisit this, so keep an eye on this, guys, if this is your cup of tea. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If Horrific Visions, Torghast, Shadowlands, speculation, this kind of stuff is your cup of tea at all. In the meantime, in the background, we have finished the run of 4 chest run on this casually geared Windwalker Monk. As you saw, I didn't have Gift of the Titans. I did use a food buff, which helped a lot with survivability, and I picked up some things. It was a pretty good run. I very much appreciate you for joining me today. I hope that you will support the growth of this channel. More videos are coming to you every couple of days, as my regulars would know. And more videos are coming to you, speculations on Shadowlands. And yeah, so thanks very much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.